Yo, welcome back to Eat, Sleep, Breathe Hoops with your boy, Nicky P. Y'all know what time it is, man. Let's jump right into it. The college production myth. It's the most predictable argument, or one of the most predictable arguments in basketball, and it happens every single June right before the NBA draft. You're sitting with your boys or with your homegirls for all the ladies out there, and a name's called in the lottery. Let's say it's a guard from a mid-major school, and without fail, someone looks at their phone, looks up at the TV and says, wait, he only averaged 12 a game in college. He's going top 10? That's a reach. Or conversely, the next pick comes in, it's a senior from a power conference, and that same friend says, hey, this dude averaged 22 a game. Lethal score, steal of the draft right there. And I sit there and I bite my tongue because I know that in 3 years, a 12-point guy is going to be an all-star and a 22-point guy is going to be playing in Russia somewhere. Anyway, today, we're tearing down the biggest myth in a draft discourse, the college production myth. We're going to prove why NCAA stats, specifically raw scoring numbers, are often the worst way to evaluate a prospect. We're going to look at the data to show you which stats actually translate to the NBA and which stats are just a little bit of noise. And to prove it, we're going to look at two polar opposite case studies. A recent all-star who didn't even average 16 points in college, and an NCAA scoring champ who lit the world on fire but fizzled out in the pros. I'm talking about Tyrese Haliburton versus Jimmer Fredette. Y'all remember, I know y'all know Haliburton, but if you don't know Jimmer, go look him up. Let's dive right into it. Let's start with the premise. Why does this myth exist? Because scoring is fun. It's the glamour stat. When you watch SportsCenter, they show the crossovers and the step back threes. They don't show the 6'5" guard with the 7-foot wingspan who knows how to rotate on defense. It's the stuff in between the numbers that determines how good a player will be on the biggest stage and against the best competition. But here's a reality check. Analysts have been studying the correlation between college stats and the NBA success for decades, and the data's clear. A study by the Bleacher Report looked at 5 years of draft picks, comparing their college per 36-minute stats to their rookie per 36-minute stats. They found that the correlation coefficient for points scored was an incredibly low 0.192. Crazy. In layman's terms, there's almost no relationship. Knowing how many points a guy scored in college tells you almost nothing about how many points he'll score in the NBA. You got to look at how he's able to score. But here's where it gets interesting. The same study looked at rebounding. The correlation jumped to 0.67. And assists for guards were around 0.612. What does that tell us? It tells us that scoring is heavily influenced by context. Rebounds and assists, that has a little bit different story and a closer correlation. You see, in college, the offense is designed to funnel the ball to the best player. That guy's going to get 20 shots a game, whether he's a future Hall of Famer or just a guy who's good at being the man on a bad team. We all seen those before. In the NBA, you can't hide. The defense finds your weakness, and if your only skill is being the guy against 20-year-olds, you're in trouble. So if points are noise, what is signal? What should we actually be looking at? Professional analysts like those at ESPN Insider and the folks at Basketball Prospectus have been working on statistical translations for years. They take a player's college production and adjust it for pace, strength of schedule, and the massive gap in talent between the NCAA and the NBA. Based on that research, here are 3 things that actually predicted the success. Defensive metrics. Defensive stats are a little sticky. They translate incredibly well. Why? Because stealing the ball isn't about a level of competition. It's about anticipation, quickness, and wingspan. If a guy is averaging 2.5 steals per game in college, that means he has elite hands and instincts. In the NBA, he might not get as many gamble opportunities, but that instinct doesn't go away. Guys like Jrue Holiday, Chris Paul, Allen Iverson were thieves in college, and they were thieves in the pros as well. Free throw rate and shooting form. This is the big one, especially for shooters. Look at a player's free throw percentage and their volume from the line. Why? Because these 3-point percentages in college can be a lie. Maybe the line's a little shorter, a little closer to the bucket. Maybe the defense is worse. But free throws are you, the line, and the rim. It's the purest measure of a player's natural touch. If a guy shoots 85% from the strike, there is a high probability he'll develop into a capable NBA shooter. If a guy shoots 65% from the strike, but he makes 40% of his threes, red flag, be careful. That might be a sample size anomaly. Age and early performance. This is the one casual fans tend to miss. Analysts have found that how a player performs as a freshman is often more telling than how they dominate as a senior. If a 19-year-old is productive in a major conference, that projects growth. If a 22-year-old is productive against 19-year-olds, that projects being 22. The NBA draft is an investment in what a player will be, not what they are. You want the guy who's getting better every year, not the guy who's peaked as a junior, unless that guy's peak is just completely dominant where it would translate on any basketball court. Now let's bring this to life with our first case study, Tyrese Haliburton. Let me paint you a picture of Haliburton coming out of Iowa State in 2020. If you were a casual box score watcher, like a lot of y'all are today, a lot of these NBA fans today, go straight to the stat book and don't look at the film and get confused and start saying stuff that don't make sense. Because numbers do lie, regardless of the cliche and the saying that tells you that they don't. Back to this. You looked at Tyrese Haliburton's sophomore stats. 15 points a game, 6 rebounds, 6.5 assists. Solid, but not mind-blowing. Nothing to take to the bank. Then you look at his freshman stat. 6.8 points per game. And then you watched him shoot. He had that weird, low, almost sidewinder release. And you thought, wow, this guy has an ugly jumper. And he's a role player at best. Why the heck is he a lottery pick? But the smart scouts weren't looking at the points. They were looking at the translators. Let's check the boxes. Defense. Haliburton averaged 2.5 steals per game as a sophomore. That's elite. That is a number that says this guy has instincts. Efficiency. He shot over 50% from the field and over 41% from three. But more importantly, he had a ridiculous assist-to-turnover ratio. As a freshman, he had nearly 4 assists for every turnover. He saw the game at a different speed. Free throws. He shot 82% from the strike. That ugly shot just so happened to go in. The mechanics were repeatable. In context, he did this in the Big 12 against high-level competition, and he made his teammates better. The points were low because he wasn't a selfish player. He was a 6'5" point guard who let the game come to him. Now look at him today, an all-star, a perennial triple-double threat, even though triple-doubles are a little overrated. I might make an entire video about that, but let's get back into it. And he led the league in assists. His low college scoring average didn't matter because he had the underlying skills that the box score doesn't always highlight. Now let's look at the other side of the coin, the player who made the college production myth a cautionary tale, Jimmer Fredette. In 2011, Jimmer was the most famous basketball player in America. He was the National Player of the Year at BYU. He averaged 29 a game. He had games where he dropped 43, 45, 52. He had unlimited range. He was pulling up from 30 feet off the dribble. The Jimmer range, was born. If you just looked at the points, you thought you were looking at the next Stephen Curry. The Sacramento Kings thought so too. They took him 10th overall. But if you looked at it at the translators, the red flags were waving right in your face. Let's check the same boxes we just checked for Haliburton. Defense. Jimmer averaged 1.3 steals per game in his senior year. In the NBA, he was targeted immediately. He didn't have the lateral quickness or the wingspan to stay in front of anyone. And that showed at the college level too. He wasn't a great defender on the college level. Strength of schedule. This is a killer. Jimmer played in the Mountain West Conference. Solid league, but it wasn't the Big 12 or the ACC or the Pac-10. As one analyst noted, players from smaller conferences often see a massive decline in their effectiveness because they aren't used to the length and athleticism they face every night in the NBA. Usage rate. Jimmer's usage at BYU was astronomical. He had the ball in his hands almost 100% of the time. In the NBA, he was asked to play off the ball or share duties. He didn't know how to move without the ball because he never really had to. He was a senior. He was already 22. What you saw was largely what you were going to get. He averaged 29 a game in college. In the NBA, he averaged 6 for his entire career. And he shot 40% from the field. Not from the three, but from the field. He wasn't a bust because he forgot how to shoot. He was a bust because his college production was a product of the system, not a predictor of his individual skill. Let's take it to the film because the stats only tell half the story. Watch Jimmer in college. Brilliant. But watch how he creates space. He uses dribble, step back. He uses brute force and endurance. He outworks his man. It's not like he's the quickest, most explosive, fastest cat out there on the court. And it's not like he has the impeccable footwork of a Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant to get space whenever he wanted to. It was a little more raw. Now watch him in the NBA against guys like Tony Allen. He tries the same move, but the recovery time in the NBA is half a second faster. The help defender is taller. He can't get his shot off. He has no plan B. Now watch Haliburton. Haliburton doesn't need to dribble the air out the ball. He catches, he pumps, he makes a quick read. If the defender sags, he shoots that weird set shot, and it goes in a lot. If they close out, he throws a no-look pass to the cutter, and he has some quickness to him so he can blow by a defender as well. He's playing chess while the defense is playing checkers out there. This is the difference between a limited one-trick pony kind of scorer and a basketball player. The NBA is full of guys who can score. It's starved for guys who can actually play. So how do we use this information? It's draft season right now. You're going to see mock drafts. You're going to see stat lines. When you look at a prospect, I want you to ignore the point totals for a second. Ask yourself these 3 questions. The defensive question: does he play the passing lanes well? Can he get steals? Does he block shots? Can he rotate? Can he stay in front of an offensive player? Does he have the foot speed and the lateral quickness and the defensive IQ to play solid on-ball and off-ball defense at all times? Can he get over screens? If he can't play defense in college, he pretty much ain't going to be able to play defense in the league either. The efficiency question: what is his free throw percentage? Is he an 80% shooter from the line? Michael Jordan had a book a long time ago, and part of that book said that if you want to be a great scorer, you have to at least shoot 80% from the strike. And that looks like it still holds true today for the most part. Great scorers who have the ball a lot and shoot a lot should, on their own, demand that from themselves. So if so, even if his college three-point percentage is low, is there hope he develops a shot? We're talking about back to the efficiency question. If a random player's three-point percentage is low, is there still hope that he could develop a shot? If he shoots free throws 65% or has a type of free throw percentage, he's probably going to struggle from all around the court shooting the rock. And the context question: how old is he? Is he doing this at a 19-year-old? Is he doing this as a 19-year-old against grown men? Or is he doing this as a 22-year-old against kids? The NBA drafts on potential, not production per se. Look at a guy like Derek Lively from Duke. He averaged just over 5 points a game in college. Casuals laughed at him going into the lottery, but the smart team saw a 19-year-old 7-footer with an 8% block rate and elite defensive metrics. They weren't drafting his points, they were drafting his ceiling. And look at him now, a key piece of that Dallas Mavericks team out there doing things. So the next time you're watching the draft and you see a player with low stats go high or a high volume score fall, don't just look at the number, dig deeper. Remember that Tyrese Haliburton averaged 6.8 points as a freshman and now runs an NBA offense better than almost anyone in the league. Remember that Fredette averaged almost 30 a game and couldn't stay on the floor in the NBA. Points are fun. Points win you fantasy leagues, but skill, size, and instinct win you championships. The NBA game is faster, longer, and smarter than the college game. You can't just be a limited one-trick pony scorer and do well in college and expect that to translate to the NBA. You have to be a player with a complete game that can actually play defense as well. So you know what this is, what y'all think. Hop in that comment section. What y'all think about some of these lottery picks that be going high and some of these guys that be slipping through the cracks that end up having great NBA careers. You know, it's your boy, Nikki P. You know what channel this is. It's Eat, Sleep, Breathe, Hoops. Who's a prospect in this year's draft that you think the casuals are sleeping on because of their stats? Let me know. Holla at your boy, and until the next time, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And let's hop in a little conversation. Let's chop it up. And until the next time, peace.